Do you ever feel like you're waiting for something big to happen? You can't quite put your finger on what that something is, but the longing is there. This deep wish to change how you feel about things, to be less stuck and to finally transform into a better version of yourself. The restless feeling is what I call yearning for transformative experience. And in this video, we are going to explore what these experiences actually are, why we crave them so deeply, and what we can do when we find ourselves stuck in that waiting. To really understand what we are talking about when we say transformative experience, we need to turn to the work of philosopher L.A. Paul. In her groundbreaking book, Transformative Experiences, Paul gives us a framework that helps explain why these moments feel so significant and why they are so hard to predict or plan. Paul defines a transformative experience as one that is both epistemically transformative, meaning it teaches you something you couldn't have known before, and personally transformative, meaning it changes who you are in some fundamental way. Think about becoming a parent for the first time. No amount of reading or preparation can truly tell you what that experience will be like for you personally. And once you go through it, you're literally a different person than you were before. What makes Paul's work so fascinating is how she shows us that these experiences create what she calls the problem of transformative choice. We often have to make decisions about potentially transformative experiences without being able to know what they will actually be like or who will become as a result. It's like trying to choose a meal when you have no idea what it will taste like, and eating it will permanently change your taste buds. This explains part of why we yearn for transformation, but also feel anxious about it. We want change, but we can't really know what we are asking for. Paul's research in cognitive science shows that our brains are remarkably bad at predicting how we will feel after major life changes. We think we know what will make us happy, but our future selves often surprise us. The historical context here is important too. Throughout human history, transformative experiences were often more predictable. For example, coming-of-age rituals, religious ceremonies, or major life transitions that entire communities would guide you through. Today, we are often left to navigate these waters alone, which can make the yearning feel more intense and more isolating. What's particularly relevant about Paul's work in our current moment is how it helps us understand why social media can intensify this yearning. We see snapshots of other people's transformative moments, the new job, the perfect relationship, the spiritual awakening. But we can't actually access the full reality of what those experiences were like for those people. We are seeing the outcome without understanding the process or the complexity. From a neuroscience perspective, our brains are wired to notice novelty and change. The dopamine pathways that drive motivation are constantly seeking new experiences that might lead to reward. This biological reality means that some level of yearning for transformation is simply part of being human. It's not a flaw or a failing. It's how we are designed. Sometimes everyone has a slower season, when the things we do seem to be tasteless. You get up every day and do your thing, whether it's school or work, but you don't seem to be getting anywhere. At such stage in life, you may feel stuck and unfulfilled. You wish for something big to happen. You don't really know what this big event might be. Maybe getting an incredible job opportunity, getting your project to the stage of success, or finding a special person in your life. Sometimes we just wish for inner transformation, meeting a spiritual entity, getting enlightenment during prayer or meditation, or just experiencing something out of this world. This yearning is something very vulnerable, something that many people won't even admit. But overall, it's not a negative phenomenon. This yearning, this desire, actually is a signal that you do care about your life. It means you haven't given up. It means some part of you still believes that growth and change are possible. But let's be honest about what's really happening here. Sometimes this yearning can become a way of avoiding the present moment. Instead of engaging with what's actually in front of us, we project all our hopes onto some imaginary future version of ourselves. We think, Once this big thing happens, then I'll be finally happy. Then I'll be fulfilled. Then my real life will begin. This is what psychologists call arrival fallacy. The belief that reaching a certain milestone will fundamentally solve our problems and make us consistently happy. The research on this is pretty clear. Major positive life events do give us temporary boosts in happiness, but we tend to return to our baseline emotional state more quickly than we expect. Maybe you just cannot fully appreciate the state you are now, and you prefer to get the reward without the effort, which is very human, especially today when many people seem to be successful by using some kind of life hacks. And this is a false belief that comes from social media, when people share their successes but never their failures or the costs of their successes. And there's also something deeper happening here that connects to our existential condition as human beings. The philosopher Kierkegaard wrote about anxiety as the dizziness of freedom, that overwhelming feeling we get when we realize how many possibilities exist for our lives. That yearning for transformation can sometimes be our way of trying to resolve that anxiety, to find the one path that will make everything make sense. But here's what I find beautiful about this yearning. It's proof that you're alive in the deepest sense. It means you haven't settled for numbness or resignation. Even when life feels stagnant, that desire for something more is evidence of our capacity for growth, for wonder, and for hope. The challenge is learning to hold this yearning lightly, to let it motivate you without letting it consume you, to use it as information about what matters to you without letting it prevent you from appreciating what's already here. Because the paradox is this: the more desperately we chase transformation, the more it seems to elude us. But when we can be present with our current experience, like really present without constantly looking for the exit, that's often when genuine change begins to happen. The yearning for transformation is often a signal that you should act. The hard truth is that no one is coming to save you. The sooner you accept this and abandon wishful thinking, the better. What I like to tell to my students is always dream big. Your dreams should be as bold as possible, but create brutally honest plans to achieve them. This balance guarantees you won't be bored in life. It's difficult and challenging, but you can always revise your plans or dreams. When I say no one is coming to save you, I don't mean you have to do everything alone, of course. I mean, waiting for external circumstances to magically transform your life leads to disappointment. Transformation begins with taking responsibility for your experience. You can't control everything that happens, but you can choose how you respond. Research on post-traumatic growth shows some people don't just recover from difficulties, they grow stronger and more compassionate. The difference isn't what happened to them, but how they choose to work with it. This is where agency becomes crucial. Your capacity to act intentionally, to make choices, moving you toward what you value. When stuck in yearning without action, you are giving up agency. You are waiting for life to happen instead of participating in creating it. Sometimes the most powerful action is to stop forcing transformation. Sometimes it's fully committing to where you are, with all its limitations and possibilities. And this is nowhere near passive resignation. It's active acceptance. So choosing to work with reality instead of fighting it. The practical side involves developing process goals rather than just outcome goals. So instead of thinking, I want to be successful, it becomes, I want to show up with integrity daily. Instead of, I want to find love, it becomes, I want to cultivate the capacity to give and receive love. You have more control over daily actions than external outcomes. When you consistently engage in meaningful action, transformation often happens naturally. Not because you were chasing it, but because we are living in a way that invited growth. The yearning for transformative experience is one of the most fundamental human feelings we can have. It connects us to our deepest capacity for growth, wonder, and hope. But the secret isn't to wait for transformation to arrive from outside. It's to recognize that the capacity for transformation is already within you, accessible through how you choose to engage with each ordinary day. L.A. Paul's work reminds us that truly transformative experiences can't be fully predicted or controlled. But that doesn't mean we are powerless. We can cultivate the qualities that make transformation more likely, like presence, courage, curiosity, and willingness to act despite uncertainty. We can learn to find meaning and growth in these spaces between the big moments, in the daily practice of showing up fully to our lives. So the next time you find yourself yearning for something big to happen, see if you can also ask yourself, what wants to emerge right here, right now? What small action could you take today that aligns with your deepest values? Because transformation isn't just about the dramatic moments. It's about the accumulation of present moments lived with intention and awareness. If you enjoyed this exploration of transformative experience and want to dive deeper into how literature can help us understand the complexity of human transformation, check out my analysis of 100 Years of Solitude, where we'll explore how Garcia Marquez shows us that the most profound changes often happen in the spaces between reality and magic. Thank you for taking this journey with me today. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, don't forget to give me a like and a subscription if you would like to see more content like this somewhere in the future. Have a nice day and a nice week. Goodbye.